today we're going to talk about the proper way to clean a cage for our puppies. It's really important that you clean the cage exactly as explained so that we make sure that the dog stays healthy and we make sure that his home is as clean as possible. It's really not hard, and it's going to be shown to you in a couple of simple steps. Megan's going to demonstrate while I kind of walk you through the steps. It's really important that you clean the cage very well because it's going to keep the dog from getting sick. It's also going to cover cross-contamination issues. So today what Megan's doing first is she's going to go ahead and pull out the puppy. She's going to place him in the corral in the back room. When you're cleaning the cages, the puppy should be in the corral. You can make this space small so that it's easy to clean up after. This is not a space for the dog to be exercising. This is just a space for the dog to be safe while you're cleaning. Make sure that after you clean the cage and put the dog back, that you move the corral to an appropriate space and clean every surface that dog touched. The reason for this is we want to keep our cross-contaminating to a minimum. Some things are unavoidable, but in this space, even though we do have a little bit of a tight space back here, you can make sure that you clean every space after that dog has been out. While she's doing that, the first thing after the puppy is pulled is she's going to pull every item out of the cage. So any toys that are left there, also a bowl of food. If there's food left in the dog's cage from the morning, then she will set that aside, make a note on the feeding chart, and add water or wet food as necessary. So she's going to take her dustpan, sweep out all the paper and any waste, making sure to get all of that. As you can see, it comes out pretty easy. And then that's going to go directly into the garbage can. She's going to set that aside and grab her trifectant spray. When she sprays, she's going to start spraying on the top of the cage, then move to the walls, then the front, then the bottom. She's going to let that sit on there. She's going to go grab her paper towels. And then she's going to wipe corresponding to the order she sprayed. So she's going to make sure and wipe the top first, make sure she gets all the surface of the top. Then she's going to move to the sides. The reason we do it in this order, top, sides, front, bottom, is because generally speaking, the bottom of the cage is going to be the most dirty. So you want to do that one last to avoid smearing any mess all the way around the cage. It's going to be the most effective and most hygienic way to clean the cage. So she's moving on to the front, wiping that down well, making sure to get all the cracks and corners, making sure to check, and then at the end of everything, she'll go back through, open the doors, and double check that there's no mess left underneath in the cracks. If you need to use separate paper towels, that's fine. Make sure that you're using an effective amount of paper towels, not too much, not too little. She's going to dry the surface completely, making sure to get any feces off of the cage so that then when you go back for your second application, it's a disinfectant process. The first step is a cleaning process. You're going to spray and wipe it down. That's going to be your cleaning process. The second step is going to be your disinfectant. In order to disinfect, you must have all waste removed so that it doesn't contaminate your disinfecting process. So then she's going to go ahead and go back and spray it one more time. And this is the disinfecting process. So while she's waiting for that to disinfect, she's going to go ahead and move on to her next cage, pull the puppy, start the process again in that cage while this cage is sitting to clean. The reason that we're using paper towels instead of rags is because you want to make sure that you're not cross-contaminating. So each cage gets a new set of paper towels. That way you're starting fresh, everything is clean, and it's not going to cross over from one dog to another. You also want to make sure that whenever possible, the dog that was in the cage originally stays in that cage. There's no reason to move them from one cage to another every day. They should be staying in the rightful cage that they came in, and that way that you're not cross-contaminating with new dogs as well. You're also going to make sure you wipe down the cage door. So in order to do that, what we need to do is she's going to hold the door open, and I'll show you that process here, if that's all right. We're going to step over here. Megan, if you would, after you're done wiping this down, will you demonstrate how to hold the door open, spray through, and put the paper towel behind it to wipe down the door? Kind of do it on this side so they can see you. So she's coming through for her last wipe down. Making sure to do a very thorough cleaning. There's no excess liquid left on the cage so that the puppy could lick it. And then make sure that everything's spotless by the time you put the dog back in. The goal, of course, is to have the dog to be in a clean environment, making sure that the puppy is clean as well. And if not, make a note of that so that when you come back later to do baths, you'll be able to make sure that that dog does get a bath that day. So she's spraying out into the garbage can. That way it's not going into another puppy's cage or anything like that. And then she's going to wipe down the door top to bottom. These doors are also removable, so on a regular basis they're going to be taken off. They should be cleaned once a week, and you'll have those on a rotation so that every door gets cleaned once a week, front and back. Although we are making sure to wipe down every surface, it's a cleaning process. That's why we're doing that. The product that we're using is actually trifectant, so it is a neutral, safe product. If the dog licked it, or if you even licked it, it's not going to hurt you. I don't advise doing that, though. So Megan's going to go ahead and add the paper. When you're adding paper, you're going to make sure to put a generous amount, but not too much. You put too much paper in, it's wasteful, and also it's just going to pack down. It's not going to be more useful than the right amount of paper. This is a perfect amount of paper. You're going to be able to see the bottom of the cage, but not all of it. You're going to be able to see just a little bit of the bottom of the cage, and that way the puppy has enough space to get through, romp around, and also it's going to be effective in absorbing any waste or feces and any urine that the puppy makes. So we're going to go ahead and close this so she can add her puppy. She's also going to make a note. She's already added, she's going to add some warm water to the puppy's food, and she's done that there so that we make sure that the dog does actually eat his lunch or his breakfast rather from today. And you'll just keep an eye on him, go back and check on him in a little bit to make sure that he has eaten. And look at that, he goes right for the food because apparently he's preferring the wet food. So that's good, that means he's eating well. We know that he's going to eat all of that food. That's how you clean a cage. When you put them back in, you're also going to make sure that the cage is properly locked, make sure that the dog is clean. Also, make note if there's anything that needs to be noted for pet care, notes such as, did the dog have normal stool? Is he not eating, not drinking? Is there anything that looks abnormal for the dog? And that's where you'll make notes for that as well. All right, we're all done here. Thanks.